In a quiet Victorian village bathed in gentle sunlight, life moved softly through narrow paths and peaceful homes. She stood in her garden, her hands gently brushing over blooming flowers as if they were part of her own soul. The narrow garden path curved beneath her feet, surrounded by soft colors that whispered with every step she took. Back at her cottage, she quietly filled water, her slow and steady movements blending into the calm rhythm of her day. Inside the warm wooden kitchen, she moved gently, surrounded by soft light and the quiet comfort of her home. She prepared her meal with care, each small motion carrying a quiet sense of peace and simplicity. Beyond her world, the village breathed softly, filled with distant voices and the gentle flow of everyday life. As the day faded, she found herself returning once more to her garden, the place that felt most like home. In her garden, she felt a quiet sense of belonging, as though the world had softened just for her. Her fingers lingered over the petals, as if each flower carried a story only she could understand. There was a gentle care in the way she nurtured them, as though their life quietly depended on her love. To her, the garden was not just a place, but a reflection of her heart, blooming in silence and color. As she moved further, the earth seemed richer, holding within it the promise of something more grounded and real. She would often pause, giving the soil the same patience she carried within herself. With quiet attention, she brought order to the growing life around her, shaping it with calm devotion. And in the end, she gathered what she needed, not with haste, but with a quiet gratitude that filled her small woven basket.
Yet it felt enough for her simple, content world. Soon, the sky shifted, and a soft rain began to fall, while she still stood within her garden. She turned gently, making her way back toward home as the rain followed her quiet steps. In her village, the rain brought a rare beauty, where even the chickens wandered through the garden in soft confusion. Her garden, under the falling rain, looked more alive than ever, as if every leaf and petal had awakened. The village itself seemed wrapped in a gentle calm, touched by the rhythm of the falling rain. The weather carried a quiet charm, where cool air and soft rain made everything feel lighter. And through it all, the garden remained her little world, glowing softly beneath the rain.
Serene. Her garden rested in soft, quiet beauty under a gentle sky, where every leaf and petal felt calm and alive. She cared for it with calm and patient hands, moving gently, as if every flower depended on her touch. The weather turned softly as light rain began to fall, wrapping everything in a cool and peaceful silence. Some vegetables lay scattered on the ground after the rain, resting quietly against the damp earth. She gathered them slowly into her small basket, with a quiet care that reflected her simple nature. She washed them gently with a peaceful rhythm, as water flowed softly over each one in silence. Birds moved softly through the garden in the rain, their presence blending into the calm and living air. She began to walk slowly beneath the calm sky, her steps light and thoughtful along the path. And the river ahead flowed with a quiet, endless grace, reflecting a beauty that felt deep and still.
The river lay in quiet beauty, edged with soft flowers that brightened the gentle banks. She came to the river to enjoy its calm, letting the still water ease her thoughts. Among the voices, she heard that someone had come asking for her garden, claiming to be its true owner. Troubled, She left at once and hurried toward the market, her steps quick with worry. In the market, she asked many people, searching for answers in their uncertain replies. She went from one stall to another, hoping someone would tell her the truth. At last, she made her way to the bread seller, seeking a clear answer. She asked him if it was true that another owner had come asking about her garden, and he said yes. She returned home in silence, her heart heavy with a fear she could not yet understand. After that, she walked quietly along the familiar path as her thoughts grew heavier with every step. She paused to look at her home, taking in every corner slowly, as if trying to hold on to a place that meant everything to her. The very next day, 3 men arrived at her door and firmly told her to leave the house and garden behind. She sat in silence for a long while, overwhelmed by a deep and growing worry she could not escape. Her eyes wandered across her home, carefully tracing every small detail, as if memorizing it forever. That night, she remained awake, lost in restless thoughts that circled endlessly in her mind. By morning, she rose with a quiet strength, holding on to a new and determined resolve within her heart. With a new resolve, she stepped into her garden at dawn, determined to find a way to save what she loved. She began gathering flowers in abundance, filling her basket with quiet purpose and hope. She carefully arranged them into simple bouquets, shaping each one with thoughtful hands. With gentle care, she prepared every bundle, knowing this was her path to repay what was owed. Carrying the bouquets, she walked to the market, ready to turn her effort into a chance for survival. By the next day, when her flowers had all been sold, she returned to her garden with a quiet and hopeful joy.
She turned to her vegetable patch, gathering fresh produce into baskets with steady and hopeful hands. She continued collecting more vegetables, each one adding to her growing chance of clearing the debt. With full baskets, she set out toward the market, carrying both effort and quiet determination. At the market, she arranged her vegetables into a small stall, offering them with simple confidence. By the end of the day, her vegetables were sold, and she returned home with a quiet joy, knowing she was finally strong enough to repay the debt and keep her home.